know, in every major automobile race, the big story comes out of the garage area. Well, here at the National 500 in Charlotte, the big story came before the start of the race as Charlie Glotzbach sat on the pole at better than 158 miles an hour. When he came to technical inspection, they nailed him. The restrictor plate under the carburetor wasn't quite right, and so he moved off the pole to the back of the pack. Now, NASCAR Grand National Racing, every effort has been made to keep it competitive. Keep the cars as close competitively as you possibly can, and thereby returning a great deal of driving skill to it. But for information on what is a restrictor plate and how it affects the automobile, let's turn to Roger Penske, who has an automobile in here. Roger?
Well, Keith, as you can see, I have the basic carburetor that all the fellows are using on the track. It has the size hole, as you can see here. And this is a restrictor plate that NASCAR has put into the work this year in order to slow the cars down for safety. This plate sets underneath the carburetor, then the whole unit sets on top of the engine. That would be the same thing if I was a miler and someone said, all right, tape off one side of your nose and try to run a mile. It would slow me down because it takes air and fuel to go through these holes. Well, yesterday, Charlie Glotzbach was able to take the bottom part of the plate and slide it out, so these holes were then opened up, and that allowed more air and fuel to go through and basically more horsepower and more speed.
There's just no substitute for a little backyard engineering, is there?
Well, they said the good old boys know how to do it down here.
Now, the Charlie Glotzbach story is not the first time that this kind of thing has come up. It is perhaps the most dramatic, but it has happened before. And just before the drivers moved into their cars, we spent some time talking with some of the people about it, particularly Len Kukler, Executive Vice President of NASCAR. When did it all start, Len? When did cheating start?
Well, originally, I'd have to go back, and someone asked me yesterday, when did you start checking? When did you find out they were trying to beat you? And I said 2.5 years ago when we went to the plate, because we had kind of a changeover. We started with aluminum plates, and they used to reach in and use a little piece of emery and put a bevel on it to get a better flow. Then we went to the steel plate, and we found out that they were able to take the end of a ball-peen hammer and reach in and bevel it to get a flow. Then we went to the plate, and you remember about 1.5 years ago, we caught somebody with inserts that fell out. And the latest development we had yesterday is we found a plate that actually had the old false bottom trick, and looking down into it, it appeared to be legal, but you could slip the bottom plate out, which gave it a full 1/11/16 opening in contrast to the required size, which is a smaller size.
I guess they had a job to do, and really the only thing that upset us was that we didn't qualify with the cheater plate on. We had it in there Sunday. We put it in Thursday for the race Sunday to try to get some of this $100 a lap money is really the reason we did it. So really that's the only thing that upset us was that, and you know, in the past they have found stuff like this and left a car in a position that it qualified and just fined the guys. So I guess they just trying to make an example out of us.
All right, coming from the back, that means you got a lot of people you got to pick off. Do you have the equipment that can do it in a space of 500 miles?
Well, I definitely think that we'll be right up front, especially if there's a caution flag or something comes out pretty soon. Well, that'll move us right up with the fast cars, and even if not, I'd say in 30 laps or so, we should be right up there pretty close to them anyway.